Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. This is going to be a bit of a rapid fire outline video for you guys, including those of my friends and family on Facebook and other platforms that follow me. Many of you guys have tried to be rational, reasonable, understanding, compassionate, trying to see this from both sides and trying to reason this out, and I can totally understand it. But what we do here on the BuzWeaver channel is we take the difficult, we take the complicated, we take the tumult, we take the confusion, and we break it down, whether it is the media framework or the Democrats' framing or how the left is reacting. I want everyone to keep in mind here, you cannot reason with these individuals. You cannot have a conversation where they listen and attempt to understand. They speak and you're supposed to obey. That's as simple as I can put it. They don't argue to understand. They argue to win, or at least they believe they're winning. So we're going to start off from the New York Post. Federal agents shot two alleged Tren de Aragua gang members who weaponized car in Oregon day after deadly ICE shooting. So the federal agents involved shooting in Portland came just one day after an Immigration and Custom Enforcement agent gunned down anti-ICE activist Renee Nicole Good in Minnesota, as you guys know. In the latest shooting, CBP agents fired off defensive rounds when the alleged Venezuelan gang members weaponized their car during the stop, DHS said in a statement. The agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupant, but the driver then allegedly tried to mow them down. DHS spokesman said, fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired a defensive shot. The driver drove off with the passenger. Fleeing the scene, the situation is evolving, and more information is forthcoming. Now, I just wanted to break that down really quickly for you guys so you can see where we are. Andy Ngo was on top of this last night, very late into the evening. As you can see here, here's the 911 dispatch call. 33-year-old male, conscious breathing problem. Spanish speaker said he ran from ICE and was shot twice. Wife was shot once as well. Just pulled over here info, right? So my caller is Border Patrol, said they shot at a subject that almost ran them over. Unknown if hit other subject since they drove off. So the important point here is I don't think there was any fatalities in this. I'll have to follow up on this later. But this is coming from PDX, which is in Portland, Oregon. It's their ICE Watch, basically. It's a group of individuals that are organized, and they are very organized. I need everyone to understand this. They are organized. This isn't spontaneous grassroots people, activists out there. No, these are coordinated groups of individuals, and they put this out. Now, they deleted it. They've since deleted this because this was just supposed to go out to some of their key members, as it were. I'll just call them that for now. Fellow protesters, activists, and agitators, and then they take them down. So they get snapshots, screenshots, captures, and then, of course, they take them down. But we can see it here from Andy Ngo. This is a very important video that I want to play for you guys, and here we go. If you guys want to see any of these, you can just pause the video, and you can look these up yourself on X, and here we go.
I'm a Minneapolis native, and I just left the protest site from where the ICE shooting incident occurred yesterday. I want to give you my two thoughts because I feel like nobody in mainstream media is covering this correctly. If you're not aware, yesterday in Minneapolis, ICE was conducting operations. The federal government, following the Somali fraud scandal from a few weeks ago, sent a bunch of ICE agents and Department of Homeland Security to begin arresting criminals. While ICE was conducting their operations, a bunch of agitators or protesters were nearby attempting to stop ICE from doing their job. One woman was blocking them with her car. ICE repeatedly told her to move her car. She wouldn't move it. And so at a point, they tried to apprehend her. They told her to turn off the car and get out of it. At that point, instead of turning it off and getting out of it, she moved to turn away. And that is when she almost hit or did hit an ICE agent who deployed his firearm while she tried to flee the scene. The left and right see this incident very differently. The right believes that she was trying to ram the officer and injure him. The left believes that she was just innocently trying to get away. There's no way to know for sure what she was trying to do here. What we do know is that within, a little over 24 hours, there's a very well-coordinated effort to get a protest going here in Minneapolis. That began within hours of the incident. Now, Tim Walz and Jacob Fry are kind of egging it on, in my opinion, saying, ICE, get the F out of here. Walz is calling this a civil war, calling the ICE officer a rogue officer, and saying that National Guard are going to come in and almost get ICE out of here, which does sound like a civil war. But to me, when I visited the protest site, this is what was very apparent to me. Protesters are blockading the streets so that normal drivers cannot drive down that road. They've blocked a couple blocks off. This is not police putting in barricades. This is not any type of law enforcement doing that, National Guard. This is protesters. where I was standing with media, and the protesters were screaming at all of us in media, telling us that we are the problem, and telling us what angles people were allowed to film at, and telling us not to film at all.
Okay. I stopped that here so that you guys can understand, as she reiterates what I told you. You cannot have a conversation with these people. It is impossible to have, it's impossible to have a conversation with these people. They're not on the same frequency. And so when you have people like Tim Walz and Jacob Fry come out and make the statements that they did, this is just what fuels these people. Understand, these people are enraged that Donald Trump won the election. They are enraged because their representatives that they listen to told them that Donald Trump would not get elected. So these people are enraged about what's going on here. And if you do want to see it, go by and check her out at Amanda here. We're just going to do a quick review on what she just said so you guys can know where you can find all these video clips.
Order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community. They're business owners. They're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update you, Minnesota, as we get more information. Now I'd like to turn it over to...
Okay. And Jacob Fry, the mayor?
I can say, again, that it'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite.
You get it, right? So these two statements made by these two Democrats are getting little to no pushback from their own party or even the Republicans. The Republicans are completely feckless and ineffectual. And I'm going to explain to you why. Everybody keeps asking me, Buzz, why do you keep saying they're feckless and ineffectual and aren't doing anything? Well, clearly you should already know they aren't, because the mainstream media does not platform them like they do all these Democrats. As a matter of fact, when was the last time you saw a Republican saying anything on any of these major networks outside of it being someone like Pete Hegseth or even Marco Rubio? You're not going to find it. I search this stuff every single day. It is my job, basically what I do 5 days a week, at least 5 to 6, or as you can see, I'm working right now. And I rarely see Republicans do this because the mainstream media is an extension of the Democrat Party, ladies and gentlemen. And I continue to let you guys know, Donald Trump has the momentum right now. And not only has he won, he's the duly elected president, but they are constantly trying to stop Trump. You've seen it with the judges who have tried to stop Trump, who is working within his purview as chief executive, right? But they continue to try to stop him. And I want you to listen what Swalwell says here very carefully.
What is your message as you watch these pictures where there is serious tensions rising?
We have to stop this. No one asked for this, and of course this is where it was always going to end up. When you put masked thugs, unidentified, into our communities, of course horrible things are going to happen. And now people feel like you're probably lucky if all that happens is you're thrown into a van that's unidentified or you're grabbed by your hair and dragged through the streets. But this started with ICE chasing people through the fields where they worked, and then they deported a U.S. citizen 4-year-old and battling stage 4 cancer, and then they started pulling people out of their homes. And today we have found ICE to have shot a mom in the face 3 times. Here's what we can do, because we're not helpless, and people may feel helpless. We're not helpless. And tell your leaders they're not helpless. We can strip them of their immunity, and I'm working on doing that in Congress. We can make sure that when we seek to fund them, we don't fund mass, and we don't fund them being unidentified. All
right. I wanted to stop this real quick because I want you guys to pay attention to this young lady right here for a second. Just be aware of who she is.
Also can make sure that local prosecutors and attorneys general across the country, particularly in blue states, use your law enforcement authorities. If they're going to falsely imprison people, kidnap people, assault people, commit battery, and now murder, prosecute them. They only understand one language. It's either us and the most vulnerable in our communities on our heels or them on their heels. That's the only way to approach this, is to be on offense.
Hear that? Be on offense. Not only that, look how he identified ICE. Mass thugs that kidnap people off the street. That is ridiculous. Congress creates the laws that ICE enforces. The Democrats know this. When you hear the Democrats speak the way they speak, they aren't talking to you and me. They're talking to their constituents who are out here. And the reason I wanted to point out that individual to you that you saw there was because I saw a video of her where she was being interviewed, where she mentions she is sick from work because she has mental illness. Now, I'm not saying that to disparage her or deride her. I'm saying this because the same situation that happened in Butler, Pennsylvania was probably precipitated, even tacitly, by the way the Democrats speak, describing ICE as groups, as masked thugs kidnapping people. And he goes back to the cancer, the children with cancer, the woman with cancer, actually. They actually took the children with her. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can see this. Get in front of it. Get in front of it. As I've mentioned here to you guys in previous videos, the Democrats know that Donald Trump has the momentum right now. He has the world's attention, and the world is pretty much sitting up straight in their chairs right now. Because, as we've said here on the BuzWeaver channel, this isn't about decorum. This isn't about being stately. This isn't about being polite. This isn't about letting your adversaries and others around the world get away with what they get away with so you can look popular as a Democrat. This is Donald Trump, who is getting stuff done for the people. That is why he was such a huge threat to the establishment uniparty. The machine is still there. The machine is still there. This is why Don Bongino left. Because all these people, like even AOC or or Marjorie Taylor Greene or Matt Gaetz or anyone who is part of the administration, senator, congressman, or even an admin hire, you cannot change the machine. Don Bongino went in there probably with good intentions. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, they went in there with good intentions. But the machine told them, oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, you can't go after that person because we're using this person for this. Oh, that person is doing this. Or that group of people is this. And that group of people is that. You cannot change the machine. Donald Trump is controlling the machine, but the cogs and the gear and the wheels are trying to stop him with what he's trying to do. So just give you an idea of that. So keep that in mind. Now we have Andy No again, who is always on top of all this stuff. And you can see all the activism that is going on here. Here's the far left mob gathered outside the ICE facility, again in the riot support of Trinidad Association. Well, just you can just take a look. Just make note of the people and the situation. And, they're streaming and they're recording and they're doing their thing. All right, so you guys get the point. So we see more of it here as well. They're at the Canopy by Hilton Hotel. They're trying to break into the Hilton Hotel. They just spit in this guy's face. He must be security there. I did that for many years while I was in school. I worked security as well. And all the stuff you see that's happening here, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen it. And worse, actually. And not necessarily protesters and stuff, but just the behavior of certain people. And so there's Andy No, if you guys want to check him out on X. Great stuff when it comes to all of this. And here's Tim Pool as we review now from the agent's phone, because if you remember from the original video, he was holding a phone as he was walking around. Now, there's a lot of debate, there's a lot of scrutiny, and it makes perfect sense as to why the officer would have walked in front of a vehicle considering the potential danger that he could have put himself in. But he must have been under the impression that he must have been under some impression that we're not aware of, that he would have walked in front of the car, because obviously we're talking about situational awareness, tactical awareness, and these sorts of things are very common, whether you've been in the military, whether you've been an officer, a police officer yourself, or taken any type of tactical training classes. You always have to be aware of your surroundings. And I'm not trying to say I know the answers or the solutions to what happened or the reason why he did this. I don't know. But I do understand the debate of why didn't he have the situational awareness not to walk in front of a car when there was potential danger. This is the same officer that you've heard many times say was dragged previously several months ago and received 33 stitches in his leg. So here's the video from him.
Change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Okay. You guys get it. And for all those who are wondering about the dog is fine. As a matter of fact, if you go to the Daily Mail UK, you'll see a video about Miss Good here, who sadly lost her life for acting foolishly for Team Blue. These people out here protesting and doing this stuff think they're doing the work for their cult, Team Blue. They're endangering themselves and they're endangering citizens. You let the police do their job. You don't interfere. And this is the problem. This is what I keep trying to say to everybody. The Republicans have got to get in front of the camera and explain to people ICE is out there enforcing what Congress has told them to do. But you don't hear that because the Republicans don't do anything. They sit on their laurels. They think that they play with inside the lines. They don't want to ruffle any feathers, and they want to look principled. It's ridiculous. And here we have some of the protests here, too, from Nick. So they've set up an autonomous zone like we saw during the George Floyd riot. But here's the thing. They had all this stuff prepared. As Tim Pool mentioned, these individuals coordinate together. They weren't anticipating, or they didn't know that the shooting was going to happen. But they do stay in anticipation of a situation like this happening. So the coordination was there. They were there in Minneapolis to be as disruptive to what is happening because Donald Trump has momentum. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. I'm simply telling you how these people behave and how they act and why they do and the way they do it. And I believe this was they spray painted here the Hilton again. You saw the guy standing in front of the Hilton. This is a different one here. Broken into they're looting downtown. So there they are, just walking in there and doing their thing. You know, and how often do we hear the left say MAGA this and MAGA that? When have you ever seen a video of MAGA doing anything like this? When have you ever seen even a MAGA protest? I mean, yeah, they want to go back and they want to point to January 6th, but look at all the material we have here. I mean, look, there's tons of this material here. I also want to point out to you guys as well, these people in the green hats, the legal observer. You probably heard that term several times, legal observer. No such thing as a legal observer. Essentially what these people are, or as they have been described, these are attorneys of some sort. Maybe not all of them, but they wear these green hats to try to differentiate themselves from what's going on. Now, when the police are out there, the police don't have the ability, or they probably do. They probably are aware of who these people are, but they have to treat everybody as a potential danger. That's it. They can't make exceptions to the rules, whether you're in journalism, you got your big press credentials on and all these things. They don't know. They don't know what's going on because people who agitate and get to this level of irritation and annoyance, they will disguise themselves however they have to disguise themselves to do whatever it is they need to do. Just so you guys know. Now, I'm not going to play this video because it's just an F-bomb laden constant nonsense. I just want you guys to be aware that these people that are often described as legal experts, as they were, I believe some of these are actual attorneys, or in some way, in some capacity, they work in law. I don't know what their what their actual job is. Okay, there's also another group of people that wear red arm badges, and these are kind of the medics, as it were. Now, no one recognizes them as medics. They're not official medics as far as like Red Cross or other agency out there that may participate or be there in case there's an emergency. I just wanted to let you guys know. So when you see these green hats or you see these red bands on people's arms, that's what that stuff means. Now, speaking of which, organized and paid protesters, I had this video for you as well.
Following the money. Let's see where they go.
Paid protesters.
We're following these paid protesters and seeing where they're bringing all these signs to. Obviously, these signs are going somewhere, and we're here to figure out where they're going, because this is kind of odd. Look at all these signs that we have over here. Where are they going with this? Watch them all just hop in a van and be on their way. Hey, excuse me, sir, can I ask you a question about why you guys are carrying all these signs? Sir, would you be able to answer a question? I'm just curious to know where you guys are bringing all these signs and where do they come from? They look very nice. How much do you guys pay for these signs?
All right, so obviously you guys can understand what's going on there. This was breaking as I was putting the video together. It's now been 47 minutes, but we're going to go ahead and take a listen.
Police are here on the scene. They formed
It is in mono. I don't know why in the world they do this, but it's in mono.
a line. They have armed with riot gear. They have given these protesters warning after warning tonight. Get off the streets, get off public property. And the protesters aren't listening.
No, they're not listening. What did I just tell you? What did I tell you guys? You cannot communicate with these people. The way you deal with them is you come up behind them, grab them by the back of their clothing, and you pull them into a van where they are arrested. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds horrible. It sounds like, what in the world solution is that? Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot have a conversation with these people. They are on another frequency. You're speaking you're speaking in a language they understand, but they aren't it's not processing in their brain. It's ridiculous. All right, so more officers here in riot gear. They need to be out there clearing the streets. They need to be out there clearing this stuff out and taking care of it. I agree with this 100% here from Wesley Hunt, Rep Wesley Hunt from Texas.
Clear that she tried to use her vehicle as a weapon, mow over an ICE agent, and now she is dead. And her death is tragic, but at the end of the day, it was completely avoidable if she would have simply followed the commands of the ICE agents. But what really is more disturbing...
I'm not sure why the video is glitching, but at least you get the sound and you get the understanding of what's going on there. And, of course, any of you guys can stop by. So let me reemphasize here from Mehdi Hassan. The next Democratic president has to be ruthless. They should run on the plan to prosecute Elon Musk. There has to be accountability. The next Democratic president has to put the fear of God into the Republican opponents. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the mindset. This is the mindset of these people. Now, the midterms are coming up. They're going to be very important. They're going to be very vital because if the Democrats find any kind of way to get power, they are going to do everything they can to destroy Donald Trump, the administration, and things that he's doing. It's just that simple. I don't have to elaborate on it. I don't have to sensationalize. I don't have to exaggerate. You guys have seen the clips. You've seen the videos. You've seen the responses. You see what Mitty is saying here. This is what they're doing. I would also encourage you guys to check out Ryan McBeth. He's a former military intelligence person who works in intelligence, and he points out a lot of very interesting things. A program he uses is called Cybra. And he's breaking down how our adversaries, Russia and China, use these situations to foment more unrest, to generate more irritation and agitation, to divide our country and potentially have, something as bizarre as civil war. Now, I don't go into that kind of stuff. Tim and them and those guys, many of them go into all that. We could be in a cold civil war right now. It's difficult to say. But definitely check out Ryan McBeth and it's amazing what he's saying here about how this is all AI created here, ladies and gentlemen. This no one has this drone type style shot. It'd be nice if we did, but we don't. But here's the problem: whether your team, as he says, team red or team blue, these things are a huge problem for everybody. And as someone who tests AI, who's working with LLMs, they get things wrong. But we're about maybe a year away from just your average Joe being able to create something like this with no problem. But I welcome your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section, ladies and gentlemen, as you see what is going on in Minneapolis. I welcome your thoughts. I welcome what you perceive, what you understand, what all is going on. I hope I was able to cover as much of this information I can. I know the video is going to be kind of long, but I wanted you guys to see it all. You can pause it at any time. Share it with your friends and family. Share it with people who need to see all of this stuff compiled together, consolidated down, so you guys can see it all. But I do want to thank all you guys across NewTek, BitChute, and Rumble for your guys' continued support, especially everybody here on YouTube for your guys' continued support. You can find me on X and other social media by following the links down below this video, as well as my affiliate marketing. And thank you to all who are watching here on YouTube. That would be the channel icon that you guys can click on. Those on YouTube, of course, to subscribe, as well as select notification. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.